Stage with Poema. Today we're going to be discussing Singing in the Rain. That production happened in June of 2022, right after Titanic. So we're going to get straight into it. We finished up Titanic March 5th and immediately started production for Singing in the Rain, which was another big, iconic show. Huge production, also a movie, so you've got a lot of comparing you're doing, and how can you step that up on our stage, and really how can you go from Titanic to Singing in the Rain, which is fun, but yet still big on stage. I felt like that had to be pretty big. So we're going to dive into some of the fun things that happened backstage, our set build, even auditions with Michael added to the cast. We'll figure out how he made it into the cast.
That's a great question.
We're going to hear his story, and also we'll hear from Wesley and Chelsae, their roles that they played in Singing in the Rain, and how you guys once again had to do that transformation from Titanic to Singing in the Rain. So, Michael, let's start off with you.
Yeah,
how did that happen? So you came to Titanic.
Yes. And
auditions had happened already for Singing in the Rain. So yes. How were you able to become a part?
I was thankful that there was a role, there was a vacancy. Someone was not able to fill, right? Okay. So there was a need, and though that is not what I auditioned for, I felt like it was a good fitting role for me to just start out and kind of find my bearings.
Okay.
But my audition, so I came to the audition, and I didn't know, at auditions, you really want to showcase the breadth, of your skills and depth. Yeah. And I was talking to Tom about this after the fact. He was like, oh, by the way. And I was like, oh, thanks. But yeah, I get up there, and I'm auditioning for the robe in White Christmas. So the first thing I do is a monologue for the robe. And if you've seen the movie, it's at the end whenever he's in prison. So I'm just standing up there holding imaginary prison bars. And Mr. Green's looking at me like, what are you doing? And I kind of explained it after the fact, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we were really curious about what was going on. And then I sang White Christmas song.
Yes.
But yeah, and then Mr. Green asked me, well, what's your range? So he's just like, he gave me a note, A, and he's like, let's see how high you can go. And I went until my voice cracked. And yeah, it was really embarrassing, but it was a lot of fun. Don't be scared, those of you that want to audition in the future. Just have fun.
Auditions can be, they're meant to be, I guess,
a little intimidating.
Very intimidating. Yeah. But that is your time to shine, your time to showcase what you can do. But luckily you were able to get a little bit of that in, like being on the stage and Singing in the Rain.
Yes.
With the scenes that you had. So you were in the family. So it might have made it just a little bit easier. But it's still pretty intimidating. Especially being there to watch auditions and to help out with auditions. And that was new to me. You're always like, oh my word, I hope nobody can recognize my writing when I write this stuff down. You want to be honest, but then you're also like, these people are really stepping out of their comfort zones, getting up on stage by themselves in front of a panel and having to give it their all.
It's super vulnerable too, because while you're up there, you already know, while you're walking in there, walking to the stage, walking to the spot, you know that you're there to be judged.
Right.
And it's like, and it's also like, I know for me when I was walking in, I know, these people are family at this point, but, auditioning for Singing in the Rain, I was just like, and, I put up there, the characters I wanted to be, but I was like, am I, shooting too high here?
Right.
So you get in there, you sing your song, you do your monologue, and then, they don't really give you anything of just, obviously they're like, good job, thank you. But that's pretty much it. So you just walk out maybe I suck. And they're just being really kind. Or maybe I killed it and they're just, playing it down. Or maybe I'm just mediocre and I need to go sit down somewhere. You just don't know.
So how was it then when you auditioned for Singing in the Rain? and then the roles were announced.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the role that you had originally auditioned for?
Well, because of that very thing I was just saying, I always put up there, put me where you want me.
Okay.
Like, this is the character I want, but put me anywhere. I can't remember the character. I think I may have chosen. No, I didn't put any character for Singing in the Rain. I just put me where you think I'll best fit. I had already kind of heard that you would be perfect for Roscoe Dexter because you're actually insane sometimes, and I was just like, okay, typecasting at this point. You first play the monkey, now you play Roscoe Dexter, But I was just like, I just went in there and walked out. And I got Roscoe Dexter when it came through, so I didn't actually choose a character.
Okay.
I was just like, wherever you guys think I fit best, that's where I want to be.
And I don't think anyone would have chosen the character I chose, being the villain.
Right. The little video was like, Lena was supposed to be the star, but I was like, Michael stole that little movie.
Yes.
Stole the show in there. So I would love to hear how you came up with character and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, just watching the movie itself, because I remember Mr. Green was like, "You're going to be the villain," and then he started laughing, and I was like, all right, yay,
You play that role great, though. I mean...
And just watching the movie, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, like, I get it, with how the whole, like, everything got off kilter with the timing, with the audio and the video, and I was like, oh, I see, but then I'm kind of, like, freaking out. I'm reading the script, I'm like, how am I going to do this? Because I didn't know that we were going to cut and edit it the way that we did, I was like, I'm going to have to, like, be, like, mouthing yes and saying no.
And shaking your head at a different...
Yeah, this is going to be really difficult,
Oh, that's funny. I had no idea.
I was low-key concerned about that during our,
really
when we were meeting up before the play. But yeah, I just, we went and we did, like, a filming, and it was with Lizzie, and she's hilarious, and like...
She's ridiculous.
As soon as Mr. Green was like, all right, just walk up to her and grab her shoulders like this and then start saying that. And as soon as I did, she just gave me this look. It was just priceless. She was just like... And it helped me so much to, to get into that character and just to laugh with it the whole time. Like, nobody wants to be the villain in their own story, but it was powerful because, like, there's a song, it's called It Starts With Me, like, recognizing, that we're all broken, that we're all human, right, that we have, like, shortcomings and failures and that we're not perfect, looking to ourselves, looking to the man in the mirror and, realizing, okay, there's some things that I need to work on. I have room for improvement. I'm teachable. Like, I can always learn. There's always something more. And even more, like, beyond just waiting to hear back from the audition, I had no idea how this was going to line up. But I was memorizing scripture, and I was going through Ephesians, and I had no idea that poema is actually a Greek word for workmanship that comes from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. And I kid you not, the same week that I did the script read-through for the robe, I flipped through the back of the book, and it was like, we are poema. This is the verse that, we got the name from. And I was just blown away. I was like, I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
And
I think that's what's neat about just what Poema has been able to do, being a Christian theater company and really giving that glory back to the Lord and our focus. I think it's neat how God orchestrates who comes in. Even with Singing in the Rain, you're doing these shows that aren't biblical shows like what you would find in a church, which is what is really neat because you can still give God the glory. You can still honor God in your acting. And that's what was neat about Singing in the Rain is it was such a feel-good, it's such a sweet story. So being able to watch that, to have fun, but then to also recenter our focus and a lot of backstage things. I think that really got me was the worship. The time that we spent in worship before we would go on stage. And we were able to capture some of that on film for Singing in the Rain, which is so neat to me as a parent to know that my child is going into an environment where God is getting that glory. You yourself as an actor are not glorified because you're giving that right back to God. So that was neat for Singing in the Rain to really see that come to fruition with the cast and just that family really becoming closer the more shows that you put on.